Alright everyone, and welcome back to another DB Legends video. Earlier today we got the announcement for Perfect Cell getting a Zenkai Awakening. This was actually pretty cool to see, just as a character getting a Zenkai. He's needed and deserved one for a very long time, especially what he meant to this game for a couple of years and all that. But I mean, with the context that VB exists, this isn't great, but it is what it is. Most importantly, Cell is a multifaceted character. He could either be hinting towards a number of things, really, most notably future or Cell Saga based campaigns. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to drop some names for characters I expect to see in a campaign for Cell Saga specifically, and what I think the likelihood of all of that is. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. If you enjoyed the discussions, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and don't let the video end without hitting that thumbs up. Alright, so today's goal as well, 800. So what I want to mention is, to begin, we had a Majin Buu Saga campaign. You guys remember that? Right before the anniversary, right? These guys released. Where are these guys now? These boys fell off fast. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. I feel like that happens to a lot of tag characters. I think if you were to look at every tag character, at least half of them fall off like instantly. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, moving on. So, maybe half. Anyway, moving on. So these guys released, and they're not the only ones, obviously. This campaign, the first thing I want to mention is this campaign lasted a decent amount of time. It was about a month and a half, starting from basically April 1st, April Fool's, and we got the release of Pui Pui, you remember that? And then we also, throughout the campaign, not in order, but we got the release of this guy. We got, ultimately, Ultra Kid Buu at towards the end, basically at the end of that campaign. We also released, again, the tag Goku and Vegeta. We got Zenkais for some characters you definitely don't see. None of these guys you see. I believe he got his Zenkai, and he got his Zenkai during that campaign. It might have been right before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't the campaign. Correct me if I'm mistaken. This guy is actually pretty fun to use for a little bit there. Anyway, so we got some of that stuff that popped up. And we also got the introduction of those equips, right? Those equips that Fat Buu had, Ultimate Gohan had, and then the Goku had. So ultimately, in retrospect, in hindsight, we had a lot of content that dropped during that campaign. So when I throw a name out there, that doesn't mean that's the only character to release. I said a lot to say, trust me, everybody can eat. There's a lot of room to go around, right? There's a lot of space. Everybody can eat. We could get, say, one character here. We can get another character there. This character could be a free character. Like, there's a lot of room to eat, right? So we're going to throw some names in a moment. Now, I want to just quickly, before we proceed, say, I think the next, most likely, if it's not Cell Saga, if it is even a campaign celebration, for the record, we're going to get campaign celebration. I think we'll probably get one or two more for the rest of the year, which, by the way, does basically take us to Legends Festival. I think this is why this was a sneaky good idea to introduce campaign celebrations, because they can just pad out time. Like I said, they padded out the whole period right before anniversary, basically. There was a couple of downtime, like a couple weeks downtime before anniversary, but they padded out that time by just extending it with the Saga-based campaign. And I think they'll probably do the same, because if they do it once or twice again, that'll take us all the way to Legends Festival at the end of the year, where they have another big celebration, right? Kind of interesting how that works out. Anywho, Future, right? Future. Future is, I can't not mention Future when you see this guy getting a Zenkai, you see Ultra freaking Vegeta Blue releasing, some other equips releasing, not the most like Future-centric stuff, but equips for some of these characters. You see a lot of Future-based content. I'm going to chalk this all up to just being a tie-in to Vegeta Blue, and that's it. And I think that when we're done with the Vegeta Blue, which his banner's going to leave on the 27th, so in 10 days, actually. When we're just done with all of this, I think we're done with Future. I think that's just it. When the anniversary ends, we're done. I think there might be a week or two downtime, and then we're going to hop right into Cell Saga. I don't think it's going to be Future. I wanted to mention that because some people were bringing that up, but I don't think that's kind of going to be the theme. And the thing about the Cell Saga is it's kind of mostly untouched. Like, there are some newer characters, and there are some characters in here that have been very meta, like the Gohans, you know, on release and stuff like that. But, like, this is a mostly untouched part here. We have versions, don't get me wrong, we have versions of all the characters, most likely. There's probably a few other characters we don't have, but we have mostly everything. I mean, most of the hype moments we have represented in some capacity, but all of these characters are so old that it's time to just see new versions of them. So I think that's what we're going to see. First and foremost, I don't think any of these older characters are really going to get grandfathered in, if you will, into the next version. If you remember with the Majin Buu Saga campaign, they basically wrote from the ground up. I mean, if we pull up Majin Buu Saga, the characters started popping up, the equips started popping up, all the stuff starts popping up with Majin Buu Saga Z abilities and stuff like that, to where they all have cohesion. There's also some effects in the characters where, like, oh, Majin Buu Saga allies, like, even as far back as, like, this guy's release, which he released way ahead of time, really, in hindsight, alongside Buhan. But yeah, they've been doing that for a while now, and so I would expect no less for the Cell Saga campaign. And if Cell Saga is next, again, it could be a number of other things. It could just not even be a campaign. But anyway, if it is next, I expect the same treatment, and that would mean that a lot of these characters are just not going to be available to use on a high-end team. And there's not a lot of good characters here anyway. Like, the only good characters here are like the Cell, and by Cell I mean like Red Cell only. I mean, some of them are decent, like Purple Cell, but like it's Red Cell only. Anyway, so there's a lot of untouched stuff here. So the first character I want to kind of highlight, and this one could be kind of fun because we did technically get a little bit of Vegeta clan love here, and that's going to be the most anticipated character as far as what I've seen on social media for a number of like months now for this saga, and that's Final Flash Vegeta. I think that actually is something that should have been done already. If I'm being honest, I feel like that should have been an LF a long time ago. But you know what? There are a lot of things that I feel they should do with some of these mechanics and stuff. For example, I think Goten and Trunks should have happened as a tag or assist character forever ago, right? They're just one of the most iconic duos in the series, right? But instead they go out of their way to do Goku and Vegeta 5 times. I mean, they are the most iconic duo, kinda, but they're not really a duo a lot of time. But they are, but they're not. You get what I'm saying, right? They're kind of frenemies. Anyways, Anyway, I feel like this should have been done a while ago, so I would be really excited for this. I think that it should be an LF, though. I don't really want it to be an Ultra, but here's the deal. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an Ultra and it comes out with that tap mechanic again. So every time, for the record, every time we see something new pop up, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be exported and used on other characters. That's how every single mechanic in the history of this game has worked, and that's just normal, right? That makes sense, right? So VB coming out with that tap mechanic that he stole from co-op, yeah, literally from co-op, with the well, not really co-op, it's the other, you know, single player mode. Anyway, so you can expect that to come back. Also, the strike variant of that, where you have to tap around the screen, that'll probably come back in some capacity too, for another upcoming Ultra probably. I think they're trying to find ways to make Ultras more premium and more nice looking and have more features without flat out making an Ultra LF, which is like the most obvious thing ever to do. You gotta believe they thought about it. They might already have one in the works, but I think they're trying to find a way not to do that otherwise, right? So that's probably what's going on. So I would expect that if it's an Ultra, Vegeta comes out with that tap mechanic thing and it looks pretty cool like VB, and it works. Actually, I mean, VB kind of does Final Flash. He does Final coming out, right? It's Final, right? Anyway, kind of the same thing. So it just is a one-to-one thing. It works, right? Yeah, he does the Final. The other one does the Big Bang, right? God damn it, my OCD is going to drive me crazy. I got to pull it up. Maximum Impact Rush. God, these guys suck with these names. These guys, they absolutely blow with these names. Bro does a freaking couple hits and he does the freaking Final come out. How you gonna try to play me with these names? All right. Anyway, speaking of names, the next name I want to drop that I think could be really, really cool. I am on my knees begging for a tag Goku and Vegeta in the armor. If they don't give me Gohan and Goku, if they don't give me that, I would really like a tag Gohan and Goku similar to what Dokkan did. I think Dokkan did it. Actually, Dokkan did both, didn't they? Dokkan did both. Yeah, bro, what's up? God, that was one of my favorite characters, the armor one. That was one of my favorite characters. Anyway, so yeah, I would like to see a Gohan and Goku variant as well. You know, I wouldn't mind if it's an assist. It seems they've kind of left assists on by the wayside, because the last one I think was Goku Black and Zamasu. So it seems like they might have left that mechanic, because it is tag light kind of, so I get it. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. And the next one I want to kind of drop is Trunks. We need more Trunkses that are the alternate versions of Trunks, where not like alternate in terms of like, you know, different character, but like tank top Trunks. Where's that at? Long hair Trunks, we got him here, but like, where's more representation for this? You know, I don't, and they'll probably mess around. If they drop a Trunks, it'll probably be another Super Trunks, right? I feel like we could use a good Super Trunks that's not gimped by the devs trying to be cute with it. All the Trunkses have been gimped by cute mechanics, right? So anyway, they've never been good. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But like, I want to see more like of that overall. I think they could have a lot more that's put into it. And there are other cool things that they could do. Like another Piccolo would be amazing. Hellzone Grenade Piccolo from the fight with Seven. Oh my God. There's so much. That's what I want to kind of highlight here. I could keep going about this because really what the reality is I can say remake every damn thing here because all this stuff is old garbage. Even this guy, right? Even this guy, he was the first LF character in the game. Now, to reiterate, he wasn't the first actual character because Beerus came out first, and Beerus didn't have an LF. Did you know that Beerus didn't have an LF on release? They added that in retroactively like months and months later. Gohan technically wasn't the first one, Legends Limited, but he did have the first LF. Right, it's either him or Goten, but I'm pretty sure it's Gohan. So anyway, that I said all to say that his thing is so old. You know how it's old is that it doesn't take 6 months to freaking watch the freaking clip. This guy's takes 3 seconds. So they could definitely redo that and make it look so much better. Dude, the new LFs today, you just might as well put your phone down and just watch. You can walk away and it'll still be going. All right. Because, yeah, I could really, you know, we could kind of do that. So I talked about Vegeta, and I talked about a lot of stuff, the tag, stuff like that. But one thing is for sure, I think whatever Vegeta is or isn't, I think we're going to wind up, I brought him up already, getting a Gohan to end it. Because Gohan is the most, that arc is Gohan's arc, right? It's about his progression. It's about Gohan ultimately, not really physically, but kind of coming of age and, you know, finishing the deed. I mean, it's unfortunate for him he didn't finish the deed sooner, so his dad didn't have to die, but you get my point. So I think they're going to kind of find a way to release another premium Gohan. And, you know, people always talk about how hybrids get all this love and stuff. They kind of haven't really got much. This is all they've got recently, these characters, and most of these characters aren't even all that good. Like, Hybrids hasn't really got all that much, and they got some mid Zenkais, but like, this isn't Hybrid Ball Legends anymore, guys. It's not. And then there's even some of their best characters have duplication, like Beast Gohan and this yellow Trunks, or blue Trunks, excuse me. It's color duplication. You don't really love that, right? So it's not really the same. Most of the other characters are old here. You know, I think we're in a position where we can get a premium Gohan and not have it break the game. Now, don't get me wrong. If he's purple, for example, if he gonna run double blue, we gonna find a way to make it happen. We gonna go double blue purple. We gonna make it happen. We gonna shut down VB, take him out the meta. But I think that is something that's on the table highly because it's Gohan, it's Cell Saga, it just makes sense. Also, like we've seen, it's funny with Cell. I'm curious to see if this guy gets a Zenkai in a campaign. As the first revival character, I think it would make sense because I don't want to see. I would like to see another Cell, but we just kind of got one earlier this year. So that's my only trepidation. I don't think they'll drop another Cell, but I do think, well, they are Zenkaiing a Cell. Would they Zenkai another Cell? Screw it. Just do it. Who cares? Just do it. Just freaking do it. Oh, we're going to conclude on this because I could genuinely keep going. Speaking of Zenkai, is it finally time? Is this bro about to get a Zenkai? So let me say this. When Zenkais were ruling the game, I was terrified in a crippling manner of this guy getting a Zenkai. I was like, bro, because if you never played back then, I'm not even going to bother explaining it to you. I'm just not even going to bother. He was VB of his meta, basically. I'm just not even going to bother. Anyway, there was a couple other contenders, but he was basically that. I'm not going to bother. So anyway, I was cripplingly terrified. But since they're no longer like that, they ain't got the juice like that. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't really care. I don't really care. Like, I'm not worried about this. I'm not scared of this. And I bet the devs kind of are like, it's all right. We could just sit. We'll gimp him anyway. They're not going to make him great. They'll find a way to, you know, make him like semi-usable. They'll probably even drop a premium green Saiyan character to where you don't even need this guy. He's just a Zenkai buff. So to make it less likely you use him. So like, I'm not really concerned about this guy. So I think that they can mess around and give him a Zenkai, and it would be kind of cool just to get him off the freaking list of characters I need a Zenkai. But this is like as good of a chance to give him one as any. Especially, you got to think about it. If we're doing campaigns until the end of the year, that means that all of these characters, not just him, but all these characters are going to be just completely left by the wayside if they don't get a Zenkai during this campaign, if they didn't have one already. Zenkai? Alright guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about some of the things I recommended or mentioned in today's video. I had a ton of fun doing this for you guys. If you didn't check out some of the other videos, they are on the screen currently. And if you haven't left already, I really, really genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all of your support.